The next fundamental motivation of a parent is to keep the child healthy. The three big topics here are hygiene, nutrition, and fitness. Okay, once the first tooth grows in, you will find yourself brushing little teeth every day for the next 8 years. I was surprised to learn from my dentist that I should be brushing my children's teeth because children don't develop the dexterity to do it until they're 9. And so that was part of parenting I was not prepared for. I knew you had to do it a little bit at the beginning, but I was like, here, they're your teeth, and here's your toothbrush. You do it. And like I was handing it over to them very early. My dentist said, no, you're the parent. You get to do it. And so I came up with a compromise. So I brush their teeth every night, and it's their job to brush it every morning so that they are at least getting some practice in so they can get good at it eventually. Now, the phrase, wash your hands, will become so second nature you might accidentally start reminding your adult friends because it just pops unbidden out of your mouth.
Hygiene, basically everything they need to know about keeping themselves and their surroundings clean. You do everything for an infant at first, and the more you teach, the less you have to do. This is a poster I made, hung up in my front entryway. It's one of the first things you see walking into the house. It's not beautiful, but it got the message across I was trying to teach my children, and that is that we are a family. We clean up after each other. I've cleaned up after them since they were infants. They can clean up after other people as well. So we are responsible for cleaning up after ourselves, plus some. And I don't remember where I heard it for the first time, but I liked it so much I hung it up in my house, and I do that a lot.
Here is where you navigate the do's and don'ts of nutrition. And make no mistake, the child will object.
Basically, the do's and don'ts of what to stick into our mouth. What is nourishing food, and what is just pretending to be food?
They need time to develop a palate and should be preserved from the effort of making decisions. Making decisions is one of the most mentally taxing things a person can do. Do not leave it to your children to decide what to eat for dinner.
Provide a meal for your children.
Their only decision is how much of it to eat. If they choose to go without for a night, they will survive. Make something the next night that you know they like. Don't sacrifice everyone's health to cater to a toddler. Cater to the adult palate, and the child's palate will develop to match.
This is assuming the adult palate has developed into healthy eating habits. It's important to realize your children will grow to imitate your eating habits, so give them good ones to copy.
My first child had a very small stomach, and I was very concerned with her eating habits because she never ate a full serving. And to this day, she only eats half. She is a grazer, and when she was about 2, I sat down with her, determined to feed her a full meal for a change, and gently required that she eat every bite of it. And upon her last successful entry, I smiled in triumph, only to watch her droop and vomit the entire thing back onto her high chair. I never did that again. I learned something that day. In my concern to keep her healthy, I overfed her in a way that wasn't unhealthy. And if your child is small, active, running, and playful, and they can run that machine on half a serving, that's perfect. That's perfect. My son was the opposite. He ate a whole serving and a half. So that boy was a tank, and to this day, he is always hungry. You think I'd never feed him. So between the two of them, I get my 2 servings dished out. So they make it work.
No citizen has a right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. What a disgrace it is for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. Socrates. Socrates was from ancient Greece, and I wanted to speak a moment on the ancient Grecian idea of what it meant to be a citizen. To be a citizen in ancient Greece meant you held rights along with specific roles and responsibilities. To lose one's responsibility was to lose one's citizenship with all its privileges. Being a citizen meant you could claim ownership, hold public office, and vote. But those rights were attached to the idea that you were also submitting yourself to being trained by the military, educating yourself, and paying your taxes. If you did not do these things, you were not considered a citizen. Women at this time were not expected to join the military. It was understood that the military was designed to protect women and every other member of society. And because they submitted to that service, that is what led them to be the responsible citizens that they were. To be a citizen meant you were taking the responsibilities of running the larger community and even willing to risk your life to defend it. I actually got to meet someone in person that was telling me about his motivation behind the work he was doing and staying fit and healthy. It was my husband's cousin, and he was telling me that he wanted to be the kind of person who could carry 3 people out of a burning building at a moment's notice. This was the kind of motivation that the ancient Greeks valued. It is what they required and expected out of all of their citizens. At the time, because I wasn't into fitness myself, my intellectual chatter said, yeah, dude, but what if you're the one that needs to be carried out? Where are we going to find 6 normal people to heft all your beef? Being raised religious, I was raised by uber intellectuals, meaning they were mostly concerned with the development of the mind over everything else. I have since come to learn that it is a trap of the uber intellectual to dismiss the significance of the physical world. This may all seem like a large aside, but it's related to my conversion to fitness. I didn't grow up working out, but I have spent the last 4 years committed to an intensive study of fitness. If you, like me, weren't raised by fitness gurus, I strongly suggest finding yourself a fitness teacher. I believe personal trainers should come highly recommended by someone you trust, and they themselves should be trustworthy. It has to be somebody you feel comfortable getting sticky with, you know? If you feel you're unable to afford a personal trainer, my suggestion would be to start with reading this book. It's called Starting Strength by Mark Ripito. If nothing else, it's a good place to start your basic barbell training. Also, if you feel so inclined, I read the CrossFit training manual for their level 1 trainers. It's free PDF online. Just search CrossFit training manual and it'll be one of the first links there for you to see. I read it and thoroughly enjoyed it. I realize that there is a lot of information out there and a lot of very strong opinions about CrossFit in general. And you can say what you want, but I admire and respect Coach Glassman's dedication to combating the rising tsunami of diabetes in America by bringing nutrition and fitness into people's homes, making it accessible to a greater portion of the population. My greatest hope for you is to understand from this day forward, if you have a physical body, fitness is for you. As with every other topic, being physically active and nutritionally aware yourself is the best way to encourage your children to do so. Children imitate us more than they listen to us. That kid's only 18 months, 2 years old. I have never required that my children work out with me, but I often ask them if they would like to. My daughter has even once said that when she turns 12, she wants me to schedule regular workouts for her, which I find absolutely amazing. They absorb more than they swallow. Because the best way to raise a child is to first finish raising yourself. You do yourself a disservice in being slothful about raising yourself. It makes the already difficult task of raising children that much harder. They will pick up all your slovenly habits as well as your good ones. So the more of your habits you can clean up, the better.
Simply finding a moment to take a few deep breaths. Feeling better already.
Wow.